All right.
Well, Christian, it's been a long time.
Been a while.
It has, hasn't it? I mean, it's not like I didn't see you last week at all, did I?
No, not at all. We didn't spend a whole day together.
Well, spoiler alert to any kind of listeners out there, we fucking did, but we didn't fuck. No, we can't do
No,
that.
it's illegal.
So, Christian, today is a very special episode that I figure I can go ahead and lead us off with. So, Christian, what did I subject to you last week?
Uh, a movie called Tokyo Gore Police.
Yeah, Tokyo Gore Police. Um,
Toku Gore Police.
it is definitely considered tokusatsu, but it's also considered a splatter film in the vein of like Terrifier and Terrifier 2. Just before we go into any specifics on it, what are your final thoughts on this movie?
It's exhausting after a while because it's just like one thing after another, and it's like I don't have a chance to like think about what just happens,
You
and then
couldn't
something
process
wild
it like,
happens.
quickly.
Exactly.
You just have to like go with it. Man,
It was a movie.
it really was. But did you enjoy it?
For what it was, a slaughter fest. Yeah,
All right, good. I'm glad to hear that because
I can't tell you any of the story because I kind of forgot it.
the story is basically like a giant Resident Evil anime type thing, but done in live action.
Yeah, it is like Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Really gory Resident Evil.
What was like one scene from this movie that really stood out to you?
Oh man, I think the chair girl.
Oh my god. All right. So to put this in perspective, uh, to do like a basic rundown on this particular movie, there are people in Japan who are known as engineers, and basically they are like mutated people, and they have like bizarre abilities. Or when this particular one happens, for this movie, basically there's this cop who goes around exterminating engineers. Like that's her main thing. Except the cops in this movie, they're not traditional cops. They're basically like privatized military police, right?
It's Raccoon or it's Umbrella.
It's Umbrella, basically, yeah. And so she goes around, she eliminates all these freaks, and yeah, that's the best way to put it, is that these people are freaks. Like the very first time you see her, other than the fact that she violently slashes at her wrist for like 30 seconds straight.
Yeah, it's a lot to like watch. It's like a hot dog. It's just slicing into a hot dog the whole
it
time.
it really was, and she's just, you could tell that it's rubber at some point, but I'm like, oh my goodness. But the first thing she does right after that, she takes up a bazooka and she halos herself.
Oh yeah, she does a halo jump. That's I want to be able to do that in real life.
I mean, if only we could, but that's also endangerment, and no. And so she ends up killing this dude that's at the top of this skyscraper, who is like trying to kill everybody with his chainsaw, except he ends up getting shot to death and then reanimates himself, and then his arm that gets lopped off from all those bullets now became a chainsaw arm, like Ash Williams, but you know, gorier, I guess. And he can actually like shoot his fucking chainsaw like a launcher. It was bizarre. Anyways,
He did shoot it out, didn't he?
he did, and it goes around in a circle and everything, just like a whole bunch of other things in this movie.
Yeah, this is a
um,
movie you just have to sit down and watch,
yeah,
knowing that it's gonna freak you out after a time.
oh yeah. And so this all leads up to a point where one of the cops that she works with goes to a sex dungeon, and the sex dungeon has all these women who completely change their bodies in some way. Like one of them, like took out her breast, and so it looks uh, like a almost like a face on her chest the entire way through. Another one turned into a snail, like a legit snail, and this is all like full on not computer generated practical effects. It's really bizarre, but you can't look away. It's almost like a train wreck at times.
Yeah, that's what I kind of liked about it was the fact that it's all practical effects. It's like a Planet Terror movie. What right?
Yeah, Grindhouse.
Yeah,
Yeah, like that.
Grindhouse movie. Yeah, very good looking. But then there's just some things that are just like, why? It's like the sake for being weird.
Which brings up your point of the chair. Would you care to describe that chair?
I want to hear you describe it.
No, no, no. I gotta hear you do it, sir.
So what is it? It's like an auction. So they're like auctioning off like
It's basically like offering services to different people who wanna. It's almost like an escort prostitution service, but for
but
these
like it's
really
not
weird freaks.
yeah, it's not just a regular girl. Like one girl is like they're all biologically engineered to something different. And the last girl that they show off is literally just a chair.
And not like any
And
kind of like wooden chair or anything else like that.
it's like something out of Ed Gein's house that
Yeah, it's a
he's on you. It's weird.
it's definitely a flesh chair, kind of like how Attack on Titan is flesh Gundams. Yeah, this is a flesh chair, and like everyone's just staring at it, like, huh, well that's weird. And then all of a sudden, like they turn on this device, and then the flesh chair starts urinating and spraying out its urine, and everyone's just cheering. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Fucking gross.
It's pretty gross. Like this whole movie is definitely gross, but it's got some of the most bizarre things that, aside from that, that just make it pure entertainment. Like for the fact when the cop guy who's in that sex dungeon, he thinks that he's gonna go and get laid by this, the chick who looks relatively normal, and she ends up unfortunately doing something very horrible to his lower abdomen. And he
Yeah.
ends up getting injected with a key. And then while he's trying to run away from her, turns out she ends up getting injected with an engineer key as well. And her lower half of her body, it was originally torn to shreds. Like he shot her up because of what she did to him. And she comes crawling out, and now she has alligator legs. Like it's two legs fused into an alligator face.
I forgot about that part. And I'm over here like, when did this happen? And then it hit me like a
Yep,
ton of
you
bricks.
remember you remember the alligator face. Or alligator legs,
God,
yeah. But
that's a movie, man. That's just
but
it's weird.
the one thing that definitely like always stands out to me, and it's the very first scene I ever showed you before I showed you this movie, was the
Oh, I know the
gimp
scene.
on swords.
Like that was like the one thing that wasn't explained, like who it was. It's just here's a person on all fours who has swords at the end of the movie on their legs.
Yeah,
Just
like
like
no
why?
actual limbs, just like swords where the stumps are. It's
Ah,
it's definitely an interesting watch. Honestly, I think people should at least watch it once in their life just to say that they've done it. Just remember that it is gory, it is bizarre, and sometimes it's outright gross. But if you can handle that, more power to you.
yeah, it's a wild ride.
Oh yeah.
Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. Nobody's home, so nobody knows you watched it.
Kind of like how we did.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, the guy who made this, his name is Yoshihiro Nishimura. I'm looking at his Wikipedia right now, and it says he's a Japanese film director, special effects and makeup effects artist, and a screenwriter who's predominantly worked in the horror genre. He's also been described as a legendary director and effects artist, and is known as the Tom Savini of Japan.
I could believe that because most of that stuff did kind of remind me of like stuff that he's done. Like what is it? Oh my god, what's that movie with
From
George
Dusk Till
Clooney?
Dawn.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I could see the resemblance for sure, 100%.
He also did another movie that I definitely want to watch, and it's something where next time I come over, I'm going to bring it as well because I actually do own it. It's called The Machine Girl. And if you look up The Machine Girl, it's legit kind of like Grindhouse, except change the leg for an arm. She's basically got a Barrett arm from Final Fantasy
Oh,
VII.
I have seen that poster. I have actually been wanting to watch it.
Well, there you go. And this looks like it's going to be all practical effects as well. So, is this movie considered Toku? Probably. We will find out.
Probably, we'll see. I mean, not in the general sense, but I think it's in that frame.
It's in that realm. Yeah. So, now that I'm done lavishing this particular movie, let's talk about the meat of our episode today. So, we ended up meeting up last week for a very specific purpose. It was to actually go see a Godzilla film in theaters, but it's not like one of those legendary Godzilla films. This was one that was done in what, late 90s, early 2000s?
This was done in, I'm trying to remember. Oh man, I think it's like early 2000, no, late 90s, I want to say.
Late 90s? Okay. And so this one is called Yeah, let's try that again. Godzilla Tokyo SOS.
2003 actually, I want to say.
2003. Okay, yeah. So it was
Yeah, this
definitely
was a later
early.
film.
Now,
Yeah, well, yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, this was a sequel to another Godzilla movie we had watched in theaters prior, right?
Godzilla against Mechagodzilla.
That
So it's the
movie.
direct sequel to that.
So before we go talk about this one, I want to talk about that one real quick. That movie's fantastic. That
It's a great
movie
movie.
is fun as hell. Like honestly, if if I had the chance to buy it, I will. And if I ever have the chance to see it in theaters again, I definitely will. It
It is on Blu-ray. I
Oh,
do
it
have the
is.
Blu-ray.
Well, you son of a bitch. I'm in.
I'll send you the link for it. It's not that expensive,
Good,
but it's a
because
very fun film.
it's
Uh,
so fun to the point where there's a legit scene where Mechagodzilla is whooping ass against regular Godzilla. And if I remember right, in the theater, there's a part where he's actually doing his like wrestling swing where he picks him up and his
yeah.
body like full on twisting around and around and around to get rid of Godzilla. And I stand up in the theater and I start clapping, and then much to my surprise, so did everyone else to the right of me.
Oh yeah, everybody did. Yeah, that whole theater like erupted when
Yeah,
that scene happened. It was really cool though. I like that film a lot.
yeah.
The redesign of Mechagodzilla I think is 100% my favorite.
Oh, the Kiryu. Yeah,
It's so sleek. Yeah.
a condensed version of this plot is basically that the original Godzilla died back in the original Godzilla movie, right?
Yeah, so this is like it's a sequel from the original movie. So Godzilla dies from the oxygen destroyer, and
Okay,
then it takes place after that.
got it. And so with that movie, the Japanese government, or is it the Earth Defense Force? I don't remember which one. It could be a
It,
combination of both.
yeah, like the Earth Defense Force.
Okay.
I
They
want to
end
say
up
yeah,
finding the bones of that Godzilla after a new Godzilla had emerged, and they can't take him down apparently, so they decide to use the bones of this one to create Mecha Godzilla, also known as Kiryu in that film. And occasionally, that Mecha Godzilla goes a little haywire every now and then because it technically has a mind of its own, but they try to suppress it.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It does like I guess that's where like King of the Monsters got their thing with Ghidorah in the Mechagodzilla suit.
That makes sense, yeah.
Um, but yeah, it looks really cool. I think the practical effects in that one, the miniatures, and the suit for Godzilla looks really good too.
It
That's probably
did.
one of my favorite suits.
It really, really did. It was very, very cool to look at. Like, need to get around to watching more Godzilla movies. In fact, one of these days, I'm gonna do like a binge on that. So we'll see when that happens. But
Yeah, it's very fun, very action packed, especially at the end.
oh man,
Um,
the end was cool. The end was really cool when she is trying to nuke him.
yeah,
Yeah, that was cool. The main pilot for that movie, I don't remember her name, but I think in the movie,
Akane,
is it Akane?
Akane, yeah,
Akane, yeah. Akane, jeez.
Akane. It's
You've
just
never
easier for
watched
me to
Rama
remember
half. Yeah, Kane like manages to like have a one-on-one heart-to-heart relationship with Kiryu and says, "I'm going to nuke this Godzilla." And she practically does by almost drowning him, and then Godzilla walks away. It's like, man,
You got tired.
he really did. So, that leads up to this new movie. Christian, can you describe this movie? Because I've only seen it once, and I know you've seen it multiple times. What is this movie about, and what are your thoughts?
So it takes place, I think it's a year after the last battle, and it's a whole new team of people that now are control the Kiryu. Kane shows up for the brief little second to say her goodbyes to the Kiryu and everything.
Hmm.
But now Mothra is introduced. Well, the fairies from Mothra come in and they want the bones of Godzilla back out at sea so they could sleep.
Now, I'm
That's
gonna
why it's
put
going
put a pause on
haywire.
there real quick. Those fairies, I had no idea because I've never seen the original Mothra movie before. These fairies, when I see them, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then they legit explain it to you there and then. It's like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, no, they're like Mothra's like I don't want to say caretakers, but they're like they're connected to Mothra.
Right. So they actually
Um,
show like how all these movies connect, and it's not done in a poor way or anything like that. It actually all makes sense.
yeah, and it's I don't know. This one was a little lackluster to me, but it's cool the end fight because it's not just one Mothra; it's two Mothras that come out of the egg.
Well, to be
Um,
fair, those are Mothra larvae.
the larvae.
Yeah, but with regards to the actual fight, yeah, honestly, the fight between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla was kind of a letdown compared to the previous movie.
Yeah, the ending kind of sizzled out. Like they just literally pick up, so they like encase Godzilla in like silk, and then Kiryu flies off with it into the sea.
Yeah. And then there's this guy who's actually trapped inside the Kiryu who was trying to work on Kiryu because he believes in Mechagodzilla winning and the spirit of Mechagodzilla, all the above. And he gets trapped inside because of some mishaps. And Kiryu is like, "Hey, I'm going to flip over. You guys blow me up." Okay, cool. Now get out.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It was a little. I don't know. It wasn't really the best movie.
It was kind of hokey.
It, yeah, and like there was no like middle. I just felt like it went straight to the end after a certain time. Like here's the final fight, not really like a pre-fight.
It really
It was
did.
just
Like the build up to it was cool, but then it's just like meh.
I don't know. Like I might watch it again later, but like it was just almost a rehash of the first one, more watered down.
Little bit. That's why they wanted to include Mothra. But let's talk about Mothra real quick. This Mothra suit was really cool.
Oh yeah, best one by far. By and far the best Mothra looking suit. Um, the way the fur is like attached to it looks really good.
Hmm.
I love that. I love Mothra suits in general. They just or Mothra figures and animatronics and stuff. They're probably one of my favorite.
Which is weird because, at least for me, this Mothra looked better than that one that came out of King of the Monsters.
See, I like that Mothra more. Or
Really?
I like not more, but I do like that Mothra a lot
That's
because it's an actual
shocking.
moth.
Well, I guess you can say that. I don't
Where
know.
this Mothra, I mean, the older Mothras were just really stiff.
Hmm.
This one was actual moth, and like it actually had like a way to defend itself besides just silk.
Hmm.
That's what I liked a lot about it. But I like, I mean, I like both Mothras a lot.
Oh, yeah. Do
But
Now, I don't see anything here, but it doesn't look like there's an actual continuation past this movie, right? Like everything is still separate.
yeah, it's still separate. It's weird. It's followed by Final Wars, which is really good. I hope that one comes to theaters again. But it's not a. It's a Millennium film, but it's not attached to those two. They're literally just two movies together, and that's it.
Oh dang! So is Kiryu like even in Final Wars?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Well, here's hoping that it is, but I'm looking it up right now. It doesn't look like it is. That's sad because I
It's a good
was
movie.
looking to see if they like had any like continuation, but considering that Kiryu ended up burying himself, it's probably not worth continuing that. So maybe that's it. But I would have loved to have seen, the Mothra larvae growing up and like being protectors of sorts.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like Final Wars is really cool. It's got a really good score, where it's like it's probably the best of all the movies put together. It's such a good like the music during all the battles and stuff like that. It's not just one battle. There's multiple kaiju battles in the whole movie. It's a really good watch.
If I'm not mistaken, this one also incorporates the American Godzilla in it, known as Zilla.
Yes, there is a reference to Zilla in that one. It's like a quick 5 minute fight, I want to say.
No, it's less than a minute.
Yeah, it's super fast.
I've seen that clip. That's the only clip I've seen of that movie, and that was, as someone who used to like that movie, with recent watches, it bores me to tears. It seems like it's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, it is.
um,
It's not the best.
so before we watched the movie, though, do you remember the short?
Oh, the Godzilla versus Gigan Rex.
Yes.
That was really fun. I like these little shorts that they're doing right now for like Godzilla. This one came out in like November for the Gigan's like 40th or 50th anniversary, something like that.
Hmm.
Very cool redesign of Gigan. It's a lot bigger in size. It's blue, and there's multiple.
There were so many. I have
Yeah,
never seen Gigan before, so this is definitely something interesting to watch. And then to see everything in such crisp animation and the sound design for it. Oh my gosh, it was so cool. I thoroughly enjoyed this short, and honestly,
yeah.
if they were to do like a theater version of like us watching all the shorts back to back to back to back, I would pay for that. That was really
Oh
cool
yeah.
and a lot of fun.
So the beginning of that movie, it starts with that silhouette of Godzilla, and it's like the lights behind him and everything. He's just roaring.
Hmm.
That I think was a direct shot from the end of Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. No, versus Destroya, because Godzilla blows up and that's Godzilla's son, and
Hmm.
that same shot's at the end of that movie where he's just with the lights behind him and everything. And if I'm not mistaken, that Godzilla design in Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex has been used for the Godzilla like ride in Japan.
Ooh, okay.
I think it's like the Godzilla versus Evangelion.
I'm actually
I
trying
have
to
to
look it up
find it.
right now, and then I don't see anything currently. So, for those who don't know what Gigan is, how would you describe him?
Um, it's big. In this one, it's so like the original Gigan had like sights for arms. He had a spinning blade on its stomach. Uh, a uni eye that shoots out a beam. Really cool looking design. Really underwater style of a creature. This one totally updates it. It's like blue. It's sleeker. It flies. And then Gigan Rex is red,
Yep,
and it's like bigger.
legit. Like, even though it's a palette change, I don't care. It was cool.
God, yeah, yeah. It pretty much was. It was a shiny Gigan
Shiny. There you
Rex.
go. Now we're incorporating Pokemon. Is Pokemon Toku? No, it's animated.
No, it's not. Yeah, I think there was a 4D ride that they did in Japan. And it was like Godzilla and King Ghidorah, and I think that Godzilla was used for that short, if I'm not
Aw,
mistaken.
that's cool. One of
Really
these
good,
days, you and
really
I are
cool
gonna have to
short.
actually like, find a way to get to Japan. Maybe like start some funding in order to do that, so we can, see all this cool shit.
Oh yeah, they have that the theme park, or I don't know if it's still there, but it's a Shin Godzilla zip line. They could go through his mouth, and there's like
And
food they could go and eat.
if you've ever seen previews for that, oh my god, is it terrifying?
Yeah, that video of somebody like going through the mouth, and then there's like another like shoot 'em up arcade game that you could play that's like shooting. It wasn't incorporated in the movie, but it's like little like pieces of flesh or like bugs that are like on the ground running at you,
Hmm.
and you have when they light up, you have to shoot at them. It's weird. It wasn't in the movie, but it's like a game that you could play. I don't know what it is exactly.
That's like EDF mixed with Cloverfield.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so I'm
It's really
looking up the
cool though.
public attractions right now for Shin Godzilla. It says 2017 Universal Studios Japan featured a temporary 4D Shin Godzilla attraction as part of its Universal Cool Japan 2017 program. In 2018, a statue of the film's version of Godzilla was erected in central Tokyo. The area was dubbed Hibiya Godzilla Square and is considered to be the largest Godzilla statue in Japan, according to Toho. In October 2020, um, Nijigen no Mori opened a Shin Godzilla zipline attraction in Kobe, Japan. So that
Yeah.
it didn't say it was taken down. I'm assuming it's still open.
The video I saw was something like from 5 years ago.
Hmm.
Really cool. Like, it's a big Godzilla, really detailed and everything. Actually sending you a link to it. You can see it, but it's so realistic looking.
All I can really say is that with regards to anything Godzilla related, we are definitely going to be covering more, especially when if they happen to do more specials like this. I finally
Yeah,
just
oh
got your
yeah.
message. I'll be looking at that in just a little bit here. But
Yeah,
while
I have them all on tape, and I have some on Blu-ray that came out that
oh
didn't
my
come out on
god,
tape.
can I have a sleepover with you and we just watch Godzilla movies?
No, you can't anymore. I'm sorry.
You
I'm gonna have to
son of a biscuit.
after that outburst.
Let me ask you this. Have you played any of the Godzilla games?
The one for GameCube, Godzilla Destroy All Monsters. I want to say just the battle arena style.
Oh, okay.
That one was really fun.
Did you ever play the Super Nintendo one?
No, anything like NES, Super NES, I've never played. Those look really cool.
Man, all I all I'll say about the Super Nintendo one, just from playing 5 minutes of it, I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't think you control Godzilla on those, or
You,
it's like a chessboard style of game. I don't remember.
from what I remembered, it's basically you guide him through the city to take on a monster, and then I never got that far because I was getting frustrated trying to get him guiding through the city.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind trying those. That's something I would have to emulate though, or spend a butt ton of money to buy.
Well, I'm sure I can find a way to have us experience it one of these days.
Yeah, come over, bring your Xbox since you've emulated it and everything.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Try to sell me out there, why don't you? No respect.
No respect. Yeah, no,
Um,
those games are fun. Though I've always wanted to play the 2014, the PS4 one.
I
The
can
one that's
never find that. That's
like
not
$300 now.
$200. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's
I
too
mean, I
much money.
understand it, but understand that Toho, cut it off. But I would like to play that. I watched the cinematics for it. The cinematics are cool.
Oh, I didn't realize that there were cinematics. I thought it was just playing, but you know, leave it to me, a gamer, to not know things about gaming.
It's like a 30-minute video of all the introductions for each dinosaur, for each kaiju.
Ah, that is cool.
Very
Uh,
fun to watch.
so, what would you say is your favorite Godzilla movie?
Oh man, that's a toss up.
Yeah, I know.
Godzilla versus Biollante, I know is one of them.
Biolante. Okay.
Godzilla versus Space Godzilla, just because I like Space Godzilla's design.
Which is the one with Minya?
There's a few of them, like Godzilla's Revenge, Son of Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters.
So,
Those are good ones.
and just for clarification, Minya is Godzilla's son.
Yes,
Okay.
it's it's a weird look. I
What's
love that one. That's what Ryan and I bonded over when we first met was Minya.
what's the one that I sent you a Twitter gif of where some guy looking like Ultraman is holding a kaiju monster and Godzilla legit smacks his hands together and jumps up and does his flying kick.
Oh my god, no, I don't remember that one.
Man, because when I saw that, I just burst out laughing. It was so funny.
And then I don't know. I feel like you. I don't know if you agree. I would hope you do. The TriStar Godzilla, the uh,
TriStar.
the '98 movie with Matthew Broderick.
I won't agree. When I was a
You
kid, I
won't?
probably would have because I
Man,
really,
it's
really
so
enjoyed that
fun.
movie and the following cartoon that came after that. But like I said, I watched it again a couple years ago. I was bored to tears.
It's such a fun movie, despite it not being Godzilla.
Hmm.
It's really cool to watch. I don't know. I love the marketing for that movie. The marketing for that movie is really cool.
Oh
with
yeah, all that Taco Bell stuff.
Eddie and all the Taco Bell stuff.
Man,
Um,
here,
yeah,
lizard,
Taco
lizard,
Bell
lizard,
did the
lizard.
marketing. Yeah, I always forget that, but that's such a cool. I don't know. That was like such a cool time, like cool marketing strategy they did for it.
It
Like,
really
what
was.
is it in somewhere in like Hawaii? They actually dug like a few Godzilla footprints or something like that.
Hmm.
That were like supposed to be to scale, and it was really cool. But yeah, I like that. I like that movie a lot.
That movie's really interesting. The marketing was great. I can't really say much about the movie. I know you're gonna disagree, but it's all right.
There was like a lot of, I guess Toho put like a lot of restrictions on that movie. Like he couldn't die, or
But
he
he
couldn't.
did.
Technically, he didn't.
I mean, just because his kid lives on, does whatever.
Like yeah, it's like there was like a lot. Like I don't like I have to look it up, but yeah, like Toho put a few restrictions on what he couldn't, what Godzilla couldn't do or anything like that.
Hmm.
But it's I don't know, it's a fun movie. I love that movie. The VHS copy of it that I have is really cool with the embossed look on it
Oh, you'll
with
have to
the
show me
eye.
that.
I'm actually feeling it right now as we speak.
That's a little sus.
It is, but I love that. I love that cover. That cover always grabbed me when I went to like Walmart.
Man, I'll have to take a look. Next time I come over, I'm definitely gonna go ahead and take a look.
Oh yeah, we'll
Um,
watch one of them.
Honestly, for me, when it comes to Godzilla, I haven't really seen too many. I've seen the ones that, I've seen with you. I think I saw the original Godzilla a long time ago, and then I've seen the new ones. Oh, and Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla is fantastic. Oh my
Oh, I
goodness.
love Shin Godzilla. I might actually rewatch that one tonight.
Oh man, that's
It's such a good movie.
it is. And Hideaki Anno, he's going places. You know
Oh,
what
dude,
I'm saying?
he's already been to places.
I mean,
He's he's
yeah.
done really well with that movie. Shin Ultraman was incredible. The the reborn or the remake, whatever the new Ava movies were really good.
Hmm. And then Shin
And
Kamen Rider coming out.
God, I keep seeing small little clips, and I'm like, I don't want to watch it, but I do. And what I've seen looks so good.
It does. I watched that newest trailer that they put out. Mm, so good.
Yeah, I'm about to take like a day or two trip to Japan just to watch it.
I could see you doing that.
I think I saw Hideo Kojima was there for like opening day or something.
That's not surprising. If I remember right, he's actually a big Kamen Rider fan.
He is.
Yeah. But for me, with regards to my favorite ones, it's actually going to be the one of the more recent ones, which is Godzilla versus King Kong.
I thought you didn't like that. No, you didn't like King of the Monsters.
Yeah, I don't like King of the Monsters. That movie is awful for so many reasons. But with
I love that
regards
movie.
to versus King Kong, man, or is it Godzilla versus Kong? I don't remember. That
Godzilla
movie's
versus
great.
Kong.
That's it. There we go. Yeah, that movie's great. There are some parts that are dumb and are only there to service the very end of the movie, but I don't care. That movie is just a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, the fights in that movie were incredibly done. It was I think it was well lit because I know that's like a lot of issues or a lot of big problem with like CG movies right now is lighting.
Oh,
But
dude,
I
when
found it
the
well
fight in
lit.
Tokyo, oh my goodness.
And it's such a good looking fight.
It brought
The
back memories of watching Pacific Rim because of the way that
Yeah,
the fight in that city was. Dude, it
I
was
think it was
just like
actually in
that.
Hong Kong if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, Hong Kong, that's what it was. That's
But
right.
yeah, the fight on the water was so fun to watch.
Yeah. It was
I love that's
it
such a good movie. I remember that movie when it came out, and it was weird. Like India and like other places of the world got it first, so like everything was spoiled for me immediately. But it made me more wanting to watch it.
well, why isn't that the same way when it comes to Shin Kamen Rider?
So like that was when that movie came out. Now I've gotten to this point where I'm like, I don't watch movie trailers except for like the teaser trailer,
Okay.
and which I already think teaser trailers are stupid to begin with. it's like a trailer for a trailer, right?
Hmm.
But now, like, so much is just spoiled in trailers that I don't want to watch it.
That makes
Like
sense.
for that happened to me a lot for like Donna Justice. Like Donna
Uh,
Justice like blew its load on its trailer, and I'm like, oh, now I know who the bad guy is.
well, to be fair, they did that strictly because they knew that they weren't going to get anybody else to watch it without doing that.
Yeah, it was just kind of crappy. So yeah, now like with the Transformers one, I don't want to watch any trailers for. Like that teaser trailer alone. Like Optimus Primal looks incredible.
He does.
And that's already enough for me to go watch that movie.
I can't wait. That this isn't a Transformers podcast, Christian. But
It
anyways,
isn't, but to make my point, yes, no. Uh, Shin Kamen Rider, I will wait another 8 months till it comes out sub somewhere, just like I did with Ultraman.
I mean, yeah, or we could just find a way to fund ourselves to go watch it.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and put a link in the description for a GoFundMe to
No,
take
no,
Sean
no.
and I to
It'll be a
Japan.
it'll be a Patreon.
It'll be a Patreon account, and our top subscriber could come with us to Japan.
They can film our reactions and not
I
watch
could
the movie.
exactly. Yeah, they have to stay outside. We don't have enough. We don't have enough money to give you a ticket.
Hey, it's
So
gonna be enough for the
you're
plane
welcome.
ride.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just gotta wait at the airport.
Well, Christian, I think I've had about enough of your talk for this fucking show on this
Yeah,
episode.
you're boring me.
You're boring me.
Well, we'll continue again next week with
Absolutely.
our Ultra Q series.
Yeah, we've only got God, not that many left. I think we were left off on number 6. What was it? Yeah, it was number 6. And I think there's
So
only 20 episodes in the show.
yeah, so we're getting pretty far.
Yeah. So it's taking a little bit of time. We've had life stuff come up, but other than that, we're gonna make some progress. But before I go, because I know you were boring me, but you can not bore me one more second here. What are you watching?
Um, episode 4 of King Oju's out. Sean said he would watch it. Still hasn't watched it.
I
Do it
mean,
now while there's limited episode or few episodes.
I mean, you're not wrong, and I will get to it, but fuck you.
That's it. That's I just actually just started watching King of the Hill today. It's not Toku, but it's funny. King
King of the Kaiju,
of the Kaiju.
Kaiju
King,
Hills, Jonah Hill.
King,
Oh my God,
King of the
Jonah Hill's a
Kamen Rider.
kaiju.
Yeah, we could sure. If you wanna classify him as a kaiju.
I mean, no, that's rude.
I know I might I was thinking about watching one of the Sentai series that I haven't seen before yet. Because King Oju's weekly
Hmm.
gives me something to watch in between.
Well, I mean, because you did just binge like what 2 or 3 Common Writers series recently.
Do
Which ones? I
and I
forget.
Kabuto and Decade, and I ended up watching Decade like the movie. So the night I finished Decade, I don't know if I told you this, it didn't really have like an ending until you watch the movie.
Hmm.
And I already seen the movie ties in with Kamen Rider Double.
Which is
And
the next series.
yeah, well, yeah, it like introduced it. So it like combined into a movie and like it was Decade's finale. And I was like, I need to watch this. And this was like, I ended up finishing at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning because I was just like, I need to be satisfied. I need this. I have this. I need to watch it.
Sir, you have a problem, but you know what? You're making that
It was good.
problem into something productive, such as this podcast.
Yeah, and I don't know. People say they don't like Decade. I like Decade. Decade was fun.
I like Decade. I like Years.
I like Years. A good 10 years is fun. But yes, Decade is a good show.
Cool. I'm glad to hear that. One of these days I'll get around to actually watching it. Other than that, that's all I've got for you. You got anything else for me or anything you want to plug?
Just let us know what you guys think about movie trailers now. That's all I can really ask.
He
I just want
says
to
no
make sure I'm not
spoilers.
the
I
only
say
one.
full spoilers, but
I know, yeah. If it's like a good movie, like a movie I'm really wanting to watch, and I see a spoiler, it's gonna make me more excited. But like off the cuff, I don't want to know anything about this movie.
duly noted. And on that, sir, doo doo to note.
to know.
That's all I got. I couldn't think of a good sign off. All right,
Are we done now?
we are. Have a good night,
Oh,
Christian.
okay. Later.